Hey folks, Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands Motivate. Right now, I'm on my way to my daughter's field hockey game, seventh grade field hockey. I'm very excited about that. And frustrated, I got a little bit of a ride, but I want to talk to you about something. I sell life insurance. Not only do I sell life insurance, I own life insurance. My children have life insurance. I have policies on all three of my kids. And my wife has life insurance. I got policies, and these are not work policies. One of the bigger issues you have about work policies is that, and this is not a life insurance video, this is a video on why you have to sometimes make a priority in case things happen to you. The most unfortunate things can happen to you. And a lot of times we rely on other people to cover us. You know, I rely on my wife because she's my wife to cover us. But when things go wrong, it also has a financial cost to it. Yes, my wife could love me to death, but if I have not generated enough revenue through, retirement funds, through insurance, through my income, through our savings, investments, and land, if I have not built enough to sustain me when things go wrong, when I say me, the care for me, the coverage of an injury, whether it be 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, or even longer, there comes a time where your spouse and the people you rely on can only do so much. Me and a host of others, and I'm sure there are going to be people watching this from the medical field, can attest to that. How many times I've seen a patient that has been kind of left to the system, which they call conservatorship, left to the system to take care of them when the family can no longer take care of them. And this sometimes could be ranging not just from an elderly standpoint or an infirm standpoint. It could just be because you're injured and your needs exceed the income that the family brings in. And this even rings more true if you're the breadwinner in the family. Now, you're young, 25, 20. Y'all don't think about this. No one thinks about this because we assume that no, we're not going to ever get hurt in our 20s. Let me ask you this. If you have like I had an Achilles injury, right? Just out one day, I worked out. Well, everybody's like, did you warm up? You know, you're older, everything else. Yes, I know I'm in my mid 40s now, approaching mid 40s. I worked out at the gym for an hour. It was 90 something degrees, walked at least a mile, which my body should be well warmed up, and played basketball. And I didn't injure myself attempting to dunk. I injured myself checking the ball. Heard a pop, Achilles was done, and now I'm out on crutches for 3 months until I could learn how to walk. And even then, I cannot return to work. I would need to be placed on something called light duty. Now, a lot of you may be changing the channel now because you want to watch something that is a little bit more shorter and appealing to your day. I urge you to stay. What I'm going to be breaking down to you here is things that matter in your life, things that actually affect your life. This is not the time to sit here and take off when you should be actually working on your actual life. Your job gives you income to pay bills. It does not pay anything as far as investments or anything forward in your life that's going to help you get out of the rat race. It's not going to do anything to take care of you when you cannot work. Ask any woman who's had a complicated pregnancy that needs to take off longer than what's allowed from maternity leave. Even at maternity leave, there are still bills that come in that will exceed what you get paid from the state because you don't have the ability to work overtime. You also have a new cost in the form of a child. Yes, you have bills, but now you have expenses on top of that. You have bills, your light, cell phone, other bills that come in, but your child, the baby, the doctor visits, the formula or breast milk or breast bags, if you're going to freeze them, pumps, all of that stuff becomes new expenses that are now going to tax you daily. Diapers, you know how many diapers a newborn goes through? Try on a good day, try 10 or 12 diapers. If you're changing them every 2 hours, baby poop more than that. You're going to be going through 10, 12 diapers a day. And that's on a conservative note. You leave them in the diapers too long, baby, get diaper rash. Now you got to get Desitin for that. You got to get bottles if you're going to be doing bottles. If you're going to be breastfeeding, then you're going to need bags to do that. Then you got to pump. Then you got to freeze them. Then you got to make sure you eat for yourself. There's a whole lot that goes in to take care of you. And we're talking about like normal, healthy stuff. This ain't like you're sick. I had an Achilles surgery and I was out for 3 months. I needed to make sure I had enough income, not money saved. I had to have, business income coming in to cover currently now, because that didn't stop my kids from wanting to play sports. That didn't stop my kids from going to school and having functions and things that we needed to pay for. It didn't slow down any expense, not bill, any expense that came, known or unknown at the time, that was going to be a new expense that was required to be paid for in those 3 months just because I was injured. There was no, well, hey, I got my Achilles. The kids don't get that. What they want to know is, can we do it or can't we do it? I've experienced people I have cared for, 20-something-year-olds that made some decisions, caused them to be paralyzed from the neck down in their 20s. Who would think a 20-year-old, what parent thinks that they have to deal with a 20-year-old or 21-year-old that was walking just yesterday, that now is paralyzed from the waist down, on a ventilator, on a trach? They need now full-on medical services, and their life will change. They were college bound, and now they need total care. Their needs are the same as when they were first born. They can do nothing for themselves. And a parent has to deal with that day in and day out, that realization that my child will never be the same. You got a girlfriend for how long? How long is that 21-year-old girl, 20-year-old girl going to stay with you? Y'all are not married. How long is she going to stay with you? Got to ask yourself that question. As a parent, and your daughter is with a 21-year-old that can no longer move everything from the neck down, the parents are solely responsible for that children. The parents of that child. You're the parent's girlfriend. The girlfriend, you're their parents. How long do you feel sorry before you tell her she needs to move on? First month or two, yeah, you feel sorry. Afterwards, what happens? You can be telling her find books. It's harsh, but it's true. Because you're going to prioritize the needs for your daughter over your sympathy or empathy for that boy or girl. It's sad, but it's true. That's the world we live in. And the more you deny that reality, the more you're going to end up paying for it. And now, going back to life insurance, say that child had life insurance at that time. Say they did have a policy, and that injury came where they were paralyzed from the waist down, they would probably be receiving somewhere up to 70 to even maybe 90% based on that policy, the value of that policy at that time. And I am permitted to talk about these things because I am a licensed agent in the state that I live in. I've got my license. So this ain't I'm just talking about, no. That ain't it. That's not it. And the problem is we don't have these things in place of. You own a business. You have a business partner. You all are successful, but you do not have a 162 plan. You do not have a plan in place in case one of you, something happens to you. There's nothing in place. A key employee insurance coverage. So something happens to the business employee, it's not that they're gone. You've got a loss of whatever productivity that person brought in. Yet, again, the parent takes care of the 20-year-old, 22, 23, 24, 25. The parent is getting older too. There is only how long can that parent truly pay for the increased medical expenses, the continuing medical expenses that will only become more expensive in time? As time goes on, those expenses will climb as that person gets older. You have bed sores, all these different things happen, recurrent respiratory infections, your stomach issues. I mean, you're not chewing, maybe. And my question is, no one ever thought that that would occur, but sometimes in life, the unthinkable does happen, but we don't prepare just in case. That's what the fuck insurance is for. But again, we play the stupid games thinking that we will never end up having a stupid prize. We don't prepare ourselves. You're out living in an apartment. You have your work insurance. Yeah, as long as you're working there, get in a car accident. One of the most common things you could have happen. Be out for 9 months and need physical therapy. Do you think you still have a job? And even if you do, are you financially as well off as you are? Now, if you don't have parents that you're close with, if you don't have friends and family, if you're doing this all alone, what are your options then? What do you do then? You think your roommates are going to help you? No, but when you have certain levels of insurance, even term life insurance, you can have something called living benefits. Now, you ain't got to buy from me. I hope people who are looking at this video, they feel that I'm informing them well enough. When you do your own Google research, you'll come back and say, hey, Phil, I live in this state. Can I get insurance from you? Are you licensed, or can you get licensed in that state? Yes, no problem. Actually, I have a license in many states. It is nothing for me to get a license. But here's the thing. It's not about you getting insurance for me. It's about you getting insurance for you, to cover you. I made the most dumbest mistake that I could ever make in my life in my 20s. I had a whole life insurance policy with New York MetLife. And like an idiot in my 20s, I canceled that policy. Why? Because I didn't think it was worth it. What I was telling myself, I didn't think that I was worth it in case something happened. I did not prioritize me. And that policy would probably have, I don't even know how much money I could borrow from right now. I guarantee you one thing, I wouldn't be living in an apartment with that if that policy was there. I definitely would be either on my first or second home, but all things happen for reasons. But there's wisdom that a near 45-year-old can give 25-year-olds or 20-year-olds if you would take the time to listen and know that none of us are an exception to a rule of life. This video is meant to get a fire under you could understand to stop taking your life for granted. Yeah, you're going to have problems. Whatever problems you think you're having right now, you don't even know the half of it if you have medical problems that require you to be out. Hell, I'm walking around. I'm driving right now. But I still was out for I was out for like almost 6 months after my Achilles, because I ended up getting a blood clot in my leg. Now, I'm normally healthy. I was out playing basketball. But I ended up getting a blood clot in my leg, and I had to go on blood thinners, Eliquis, a blood thinner. Stuff I give my heart patients, or not I give them prescribing, but I give them because it's ordered for patients on my floor. I was taking that medication so much that every time I have surgery, I'm now at risk for getting blood clots. So I've got to make sure the doctors know that. I've got to make sure my wife knows that, to tell the doctors. But again, these health issues can take you out for just long enough to disrupt your finances. Yes, you could have 3 to 6 months salary saved. You could have a year worth of salary saved. But again, this is in an era when I pay for my own medical benefits too. You're a business owner. Who's covering your medical? You got to cover your own medical. Get cheap insurance and let them deductibles start hitting and see how things go. Now, again, I don't know about you, but my post-op days when I just got done getting surgery, I really wasn't at the computer working on ancestry lands like that. I had to have people in place to make sure postings could stay live. People could post videos of property. People could actually handle the calls. That those things had to be running in case those things happen. And fortunately enough for me, I had those things in place. Now, how do you translate that into your own life? Do you have that for your own personal life? What I'm saying is that you have to have all the bases covered, because at the end of the day, even your parents will come up short. Your parents will come up short on you. Some parents may come through, but let me guess. Take a look at your parents, have a talk with them, and see how long can they take care of you. And if you see them barely being able to take care of themselves, you better pick up the phone and call me. You better send me an email, phdavis@ancestrylands.com. You better find some way to get in touch with me. Hell, go to ancestrylands.com and my number's at the bottom on that page. You better get on the phone and get some insurance to get yourself covered. Because things happen, and don't wait for them to happen to say, okay, now I'm going to do it. That's the problem. People start doing it once they start seeing the fire, once they start getting burned, is when they say, okay, now I'll make a move. You don't need to do that. You need to prepare. Preparation and opportunity is where luck happens. When you're lucky, you've already prepared for the I don't want to say opportunity, but for the situation that puts you in otherwise this precarious development. That's what happened. Go ahead, man. There ain't nowhere for you to go, fam. That's what ended up happening. You're prepared for a situation that might occur. And when life says, hey, you're the lucky one today that's going to get this misfortune, you're going to have this Achilles pop off. You're going to have this hamstring tear. You're going to have this car accident that gives you're going to have knee surgery. You got this broken femur that's going to take you 7 months to walk, not 6. Or you get paralyzed. You got spinal surgery you got to get because you got herniated disc from an accident because someone was on their phone texting. What the are you serious, lady? I ain't let you through. Any which way. You got herniated disc from an accident that leaves you needing surgery that you're in a wheelchair temporarily for, and now you got to take your time to relearn how to walk. You don't even need to be at the severe point. You just need a situation where it takes you a little bit more time than your job will allow, and see where your life insurance policy will be at there. And most of the time, hell, I know y'all ain't getting the full life insurance policy to cover you in those situations. You're gambling that your youth will hold you over longer than the actual life will. And that is a bad gamble. I'm going to close it out with this, folks. No one will take care of you like you take care of yourself. Your parents will not take care of you like you take care of yourself. I'm telling you, be motivated with these videos to do something for you. The only person that is going to look out for you is you. And I'm telling you, you got to look out for yourself. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands motivates. Hope you've been enlightened, educated, and least of all, entertained. Be motivated to make a change, folks. Phil Davis, and I'm out. Peace.